Adequate notice of this meeting was provided to the Cranford Chronicle, advertised on January 16, 2015. Notification was sent to the Star Ledger and formally posted on the municipal public bulletin board and filed in the office of the municipal clerk, informing the public of time and place according to the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Law, Chapter 231 PL 1975. Good evening, everyone.
Evening, Mayor.
First of all, our engineer, Don Goriello, is excused this evening, and we'll move on to our Borough Attorney, Robert Renard.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a couple of ordinances for you for introduction tonight. One on dumpsters and the one that pertains to the role of the engineer that was requested and which of the engineers have what responsibilities. So those two are for introduction. I believe everybody's gotten them, and I believe you've asked all the questions that you wanted to ask of them, but if there's any more, of course, I'll answer those.
Okay.
We have, we don't have an executive session to discuss a personnel matter and a potential litigation matter at some time at your pleasure, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I think that's much it. Actually, you know what, I should mention, we do have that affordable housing action that's pending in Superior Court. I sort of update on every once in a while. This is the declaratory judgment to permit Garwood to ask the court to approve of Garwood's affordable housing plan as we used to submit to COA. We can't do that anymore because COA's not functional, so the Supreme Court set up a system whereby the municipalities would go to court and ask the court to approve. So I'd say we're in the middle of that process. The COA planner that you retained is still fine-tuning a plan to meet the obligations that we think we have. I think I explained to you it's sort of a moving target because in the past, previous rounds, COA would tell the municipalities what it determined their obligation to be, and then the municipality would formulate a plan to meet it. But since COA is non-functional, the municipality has to set forth to the court what it thinks its obligation is. And that's one of the reasons why we've retained these experts to do this calculation. So anyway, to make a long story short, the matter's proceeding. We haven't had any problems so far. I'm hopeful that everything will go smoothly, and at the conclusion of the process, we'll have an approved plan.
Is that all, sir?
I believe that's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Renard at this point? Okay. Moving on, Administrative Clerk, Christina Ariella, do you have something this evening?
No report, Mayor.
Okay. Unfinished business, anyone on the council? Any new business? I have something, as I said at the last meeting, I was going to switch around some of the committees, just a minimal impact for the balance of the year. And what I've done is I've appointed Councilwoman Carney to the following committees assignments: Police Committee Chair, Laws and License Committee Member, and Committee on Aging Liaison. I also appointed Councilman Petroselli to fill the following committee assignment: Administrative Review Committee Member, and Councilwoman Tedesco is moved to the chairperson. I appointed Councilman Martin to fill the following committee assignments: Buildings and Grounds Committee, and I hereby abolish the Parking Committee. Any further review concerning parking will be reviewed by the Laws and License Committee, and Councilwoman Carney will remain the Business and Industry Chamber of Commerce Liaison. And all, just a small other point, that this Saturday is Mayor's Saturday, to be held at 11 a.m. And Councilwoman Carol Carney will be joining me, as we've done in the past with the other fellow council people. Okay, moving on, matters of discussion from the members of the council. Councilwoman Carney.
Nothing, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Martin.
Nothing, Mayor.
Councilman Matthew?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to check, do you have any progress on the emergency plan?
Yes, we do, sir. Basically, it was presented 3 weeks ago to the county, and they passed it on to the state. My understanding now is that all the various aspects of that plan, called appendices, and they are being signed off, and there's a meeting the last week in October. I believe it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That will finalize everything, hopefully.
So we're waiting basically for like a sign off or approval?
Well, basically, we presented with just the internal sign off. That's what we're waiting for. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Councilman Petroselli?
Nothing to discuss now.
Thank you. Councilwoman Tedesco?
Thank you, Mayor. I just have 2 items. One, I wanted to bring up because, and I apologize for having my phone out, but that's where it is. There was some conversation between Council President Nierstedt, myself, and our Superintendent of Public Works, as well as Borough Engineer, about this work being done around town, specifically on Hickory and 3rd Avenue. There were sections where the drainage is being done, and you would see like holes between the street and the sidewalk. And so we put that on their radar, and basically, the Superintendent of Public Works was in contact with the water company last week about these issues. And then on the contractor side, the Borough Engineer was in contact with them. And he said, as soon as the contractor completes concrete work on Maple, he will repair the curbs on 3rd and Hickory. He will then bring in topsoil, mulch, and seed. So he just sent that from his iPad today. So,
Very good.
thanks.
Thank God for technology.
Yes, and the other item I have is that Council President Nierstedt arranged for a meeting with a FEMA representative last week, and also he brought in the gentleman from the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, and they sat with the residents that came. About 25 residents came, as you were here, Mayor, and Councilman Petroselli, Councilwoman Carney were here that night as well. And it was great. They gave a presentation, and then they also answered a lot of residents' questions that night. They couldn't promise, of course, to help them lower their flood insurance, but they did try to give as much education to them as possible about why the plan is what it is. Basically, the last time the flood plan was changed in Garwood was 2007, I believe. And also, if residents are looking to appeal their flood insurance, the best way for them to do it was through an elevation survey. And so we collected some email addresses of the residents so that they could, I'm then turning it over to one of them to kind of organize as residents to see what they can do for themselves in that flood zone. We have 77 homes affected. So also, we had a commissioner from Cranford come, and that was a little mixed at first. I think there was a lot of kind of negativity towards Cranford because of the backing up of the brook on their end. The fact that they weren't able to get easements from property owners about 10 years ago so that they could increase the width of their brook. But it's something they're revisiting now, and I think just having that communication between Cranford and Garwood was really important, and having him there last week was positive as well. So just wanted to let everyone know, and I'm going to give the Borough Administrator some information on that so she can post it on the website for residents that may be interested and weren't able to attend.
Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, as we can see, Council President Nierstedt is excused this evening, so if there's nothing else, we'll move on. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address the mayor and council? Please step to the microphone, sign in, say your full name and address. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good evening, Tom Pettis, 101 Chestnut Court. I just wanted to remind all of you and everyone in the audience that a week from Thursday, we're hosting a political debate at the Point in Garwood, and you are all welcome to come, and so is the entire town of Garwood. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll sign this right afterwards.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Lombardo, ladies and gentlemen of the council, and
newbie. I had emailed this, it was a little late, but I had emailed a, I don't know if you want to call it a model resolution, but I guess a suggestion to to Tina, the borough admin. I don't know if she distributed it, we only did it yesterday. But I did make some copies, and I guess you will be distributing it to the. Oh, you got it, okay. I tried the occasional typo, of course. But anyway, what I just want to talk about is, Rawway River Park, there's a major issue over there. The city of Rawway wants to build their large sports recreation complex on county land, which is Rawway River Park. The residents, I don't know if you guys have been reading the papers, but I mean, the residents are turning out in droves. They have a petition for like 5,000, close to 5,000 signatures, and they've been coming to the freeholder meetings. Everybody comes down to the freeholder meeting and sees it, but anyway, and it's video, but yeah, a lot of people are speaking against it. There was one meeting where a bunch of parents did show up with their children, and the children say, "You really like that? This might, you know." Whatever.
Mr. Patterson,
Hard to-
refrain yourself.
Yeah, okay, but anyway, so I typed up this resolution. See, the issue is the county belongs to all of us. And if you read this, I mean, there was a couple of other incidents previously where they sold runnels, and I probably wrote a letter to the council about it. You know, but they sold runnels and there was really no other input. It was just their decision, and then also they just kept all the profits and the operating monies, and, you know, they buried it in the budget early this year, and they wrote a letter about that, you know, $10, $20 million is now hidden. But anyway, so they sold runnels, and also the golf course, the Galvin Golf Course has been transferred over to the UCIA, and nobody really had any input in that. But right now, we got the city of Rawway is seizing county land, and the public is speaking out about it. But I mean, it really needs to be done because it's a city seizing the county land. It really needs to be done on the other towns and city level. And so I wrote this resolution that I'd really like you to deliberate on, maybe correct a typo or two, or research it. I always like looking into things, whatever I say, which is great. But take a look at it, and it really needs to be done. There should be, since the city of Rawway is seizing county land, that the other 20 towns, which, you know, we're not allowed to like seize Unami or whatever, the other 20 towns should at least have a say as to yes or no that the city of Rawway can come in and seize the land for their sports complex. So this is, I don't know if anybody wants to comment on that, or maybe it's too premature, but that's the scope, let's say.
Well, first of all, far be it for me to ever defend the county's actions, Bruce, as you know, but in fairness to the county, they are distributing some of that money from the Reynolds proceeds in the form of grants. We've seen some of that already.
Yeah,
I mean, I need to,
We hope it keeps coming.
Sorry?
So we hope it keeps coming our
We
way.
hope it keeps coming. They're giving every indication that it will keep coming, and we hope it does. I don't think it's fair.
Okay, well, take a look at it. I mean, I really like
the
the
whole
council.
council will have time to review it though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like all 21 towns to really vote on it. I mean, Rawway obviously vote yes. And because, that $1.5 million that county grant, that's because I've been rattling the cage down there in the beginning. So that, like uncovering all this money. So they also popped up, not to toot my horn, I mean, they popped up with this $1.5 million.
I think you made your point, Mr.
All right, just
Thank you.
one more issue. The flood maps, I guess the last revision was 07. I thought Sandy, when Sandy came about in 2012, that FEMA adjusted the flood maps.
Mr. Goriello was at that meeting also, and he said that we were up to date, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true, Councilwoman?
Yes, we are, but
We're up to date.
the year I remember was 07.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that flood map on the site, on the borough site?
If not, I'm gonna add it.
Okay.
And
Might be, but I'm not sure, but I will add it. If not.
I got another couple issues, I mean, I can talk later, but.
This sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
So we can move things along. Yeah, you can talk later on too.
Well, I'll tell you what, since actually it was brought up about the FEMA coming here and residents showing up at the council meeting, and Bill should actually know this, but I mean, I did get the letter, and I asked other residents on Willow Avenue, and some actually didn't get the letter. But everybody kind of got it right around the meeting date, which was the 7th. And I just want to point out something, that you just may have violated election laws, because within 30 days of an election, you should not be sending out municipal correspondence with the incumbent councilman who's up for election's name, and the name mentioned in here is Bill Nearstead, and unfortunately, Bill's not here, but, you know, he should know better. I don't know how this happened, but to tell you the truth, I think you violated election law. I just want to point that out. And I'll talk further, not on this, but on the record. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I won't sign it for him, but Rich McCormick, 101 4th Avenue.
Thank you, Rich.
I'm here for, I'll sign it so whenever you go.
Thank you.
I'm here for trees. I see there's a lot of trees getting cut down. They have white X's, orange X's. Orange X's are probably special. But anyway, I'm here to discuss a tree that's on the side of my property on Oak Street. So I'm gonna assume it was about 5 or 6 years ago, you did the sidewalks on my property on Oak Street. With that, you took down 3 huge sycamore trees, and in return, the next year you replanted 3 small trees. A year after those 3 small trees were there, 2 of them were polluting. What does that mean? That means they were dropping these itchy balls, which I don't want to wake up. I'm a maintenance freak to begin with, so I made a couple of complaints. Town came by, they took away those 2 trees. I'm stuck with 1 tree. I brought a baggie of arsenal that I have. This new tree, which is now, again, 4 years old, I'm presuming, has now started to blossom. It is dropping these acorns that are tremendous. I'm here to ask you people to take this tree down. It's not that big yet, but in return, I know there's a big tree issue in Garwood up in sidewalks. I asked this before when they took the other 2 trees down. I want trees. I just don't want trees that are polluting, and when you walk in the morning, you trip on garbage and so on and so forth. So I just wanted to make that statement clear. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Will I hear back from somebody about
Yes.
that tree? Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll take a few minute break. I need one. A motion to adjourn workshop?
So moved.
So moved.
All in favor? Come back at 7:25.